Well, hi there. Welcome, welcome. This is going to be the August reading for the lovely Cancerians out there or anyone navigating their chart with Cancer themes. So wherever Cancer's sitting in your chart, if it's your sun sign, you probably would have just had your birthday. So happy birthday. I hope last month was evolutionary for you. Let's have a look at the month ahead. Already it feels pretty good actually for you guys. But I want to expand in. We are going to do something a little bit different this month. I want to keep you moving through your intuition development journey. And if you have one of the Stalk Your Shadow Oracle decks, please follow along and just write down the cards and their placements and then go through the little book and get a bit more energy from it. And there's action steps with every card. So it's all well and good to get the information, but what are we doing about it? Action brings it into the tangible reality. So that's why I made them that way. And I think for shadow work, we do need to bring it into the physical reality. Otherwise, it can sort of just sit there and dance there in our consciousness. And we run the risk of it becoming something that we're too attached to, like that's just who I am and I'll never be good at that and blah, blah, blah. So my darling Cancerians, wherever you have Cancer in your chart, we're going to do an anchor card. So the card at the front is going to tell us what training program we're in this month. This is a term we use at Ankara a lot. It means, what are your guides taking you through? So how can we surrender to the flow of it rather than resist against it? Because we want the learning and we want the growth, but we need to acknowledge that that will take time and energy and alignment. So alignment is a nice way of saying there needs to be some effort involved. Sometimes we just take our hands off the wheel and we get the learning and the growth, but we want to, I guess, consent to the training program. It makes everything a lot easier. Otherwise, we circle back around on these themes and they go round and round and round like a hamster wheel and nothing ever gets resolved. You know, this feeling? Because we go, oh, too busy for that. Oh, I don't really know. No, I wouldn't want to do that. No, that's too much. We kind of want to go into something, prepare for it, understand what's going on, talk to our guides about it. So is this the training program for me? Yes or no, if you're using pendulums, muscle testing, flipping coins, cards, whatever it is. How long will it take? How can I better align with it rather than resist it? Do I have any boundaries in it? Which means you can actually ask your guides. My no-go zones are, you know, I don't want to be bedridden with sickness. I don't want to sabotage my relationships. I don't want to fall behind on this, that, and the other. Can we please make it so that we're working in collaboration here? I used to say in the past, like, I promise to consent to the training, but these are my parameters. And once you put those parameters down, things start to shift. So you say, yes, I'll take the training. Thank you. I know that there's going to be parts that are difficult and uncomfortable. That's the shadow work, but I really need these things to be my parameters. What do I need to do for that? So that might be, we'll take a day of rest so that you can integrate. That might be listening to them when they shift through synchronicity or lack thereof, where you need to go, opening doors, closing doors, shifting appointments, all that sort of stuff happens when we consent into the program and still stay in authority. It's not like, why are you doing this to me? It's more like, oh, okay, you're trying to teach me what stress is mine and what is someone else's. So where are we still in those codependent structures? Where are we empathetically taking on from other people? And when does that serve us and when does it not? Because it's a beautiful gift. But particularly for those of us that can be even in close proximity to people, we just start to lose ourselves very quickly. Like, hang on a second, is this mine or is this yours? I don't really understand what's happening. I can feel it. It's in my body as well. So how do we distinguish this? The dugong is a beautiful animal, playful, very good with other people, very good at connection. But and it happens to the most kind-hearted people, and that's you, Cancerians, is like, is that big heart taking on everybody's stuff? Or can we keep it separate without closing our heart? I think that's one of the best questions that we can ruminate on, maybe for years, is I want to have boundaries and I want to know what's mine and what's someone else's, but I don't want to close my heart to do that. I don't want to push everyone away and build the walls up higher. I want to actually say, like, even in your presence, when my fields are open and I am naturally empathetic, I can distinguish what is mine and what is yours, and therefore take responsibility for mine and send yours back or hold up a mirror to yours, which is like, whoa, I can really feel how stressed you are. Are you okay? Do you need anything? But in no way is that stress mine, right? That's really a beautiful place we're trying to get to. Now, remember, it is about resources. So, particularly for open-hearted, empathetic, kind people that love relationship, that's all of you, Cancerians. So, check out my basin of safety video. It will describe that those dysfunctional parts of sharing stress, codependency, taking on other people's emotions, taking responsibility for other people's lives, blah, 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 will happen more if your resources are too low. If your resources are really high, you'll naturally have this, I can tell where my fields end and your fields begin, right? And I can separate on the table of problems and solutions, which I can take responsibility for and which are yours, right? And that's really important when we're going towards open-hearted connection with strong energy systems and strong energetic boundaries, right? Very important. So a card for the 3D, a card for the 4D pivot point, and a card for 5D in the training program of being kind-hearted and playful, but having strong boundaries and understanding where we take on stress from other people, environments, places. So in the 3D, I want you to figure out, which timeline are you heading towards? Do we have a goal? Do we know where we're going? What does it look like? Have you aligned with anything for the future? And have you sure you've looked at all the options? So praying mantis is like, there's usually a timeline that you haven't even considered that would be really awesome for you. So a lot of people are like, I've just got to get through, or I've got to go this way or this way. I've got to stay or I've got to leave. That's it. I got to quit my job or stay in my job. That's it. I've got to stay in the relationship, leave the relationship. That's a fight and flight mechanism. That's a trauma response. The praying mantis is saying there's a million ways we could do this. Have a think about, I think that'd be a really good journaling exercise, what you're trying to cultivate for yourself, how you want to move forward, what are the ways that other people have done it, what are the many ways we could do this. So when you're in that indecisive place, it usually says, one, you're stuck in a paradigm of right and wrong, good and bad. That tells me that we're very much in those lower chakras, those lower centers. You're probably low in resources because you can't creatively say, well, like, how many ways could we do this? Maybe we could do it in a way that no one's ever done before. That's creative thinking. So we need to top up the battery, time, energy, money, supportive relationships. Go for 1 to 2% every day. No more overgiving. Start replenishing the battery, giving yourself more time, spending less, earning more, whatever it is. And then let's dance in the timeline. So how many ways could I do this? Who could I ask for help that maybe has done it? Or how do I get another mind in here to create more interesting thought patterns? So bounce it off someone that is either in a position that you'd like to be in or has more wisdom and knowledge, and say, like, well, what would you do in this scenario? For example, I want to do something better than my current job, but I'm too scared to leave and start from zero. Or I really want to move to another city or another country, but I've never done that before and I don't actually know which one's the best place to go. If someone has more experience, they're more well-traveled, they've had more jobs than you, then they can be like, well, you know what I would do? And then they can open up another possibility in another timeline that you'd never considered, right? So get this conversation out, journal about it first, sit in meditation with your guides. Is there another way I could be doing this? Stare out into the horizon and see how many possibilities there are, and really hone in on where you're limiting yourself to either not having a plan at all or having a fight and flight mechanism going off, right? For most people, when they say, oh, well, I want to open up my own business, I need to quit my job. Well, I say, well, why don't you stay in the job, work on your business in your leisure time, and work towards a plan that means you can gradually step out? So, are you saving towards that business? Are you hacking into your routine so you got available time? Are you working on it on the side? Are you saving all your money to be an insurance policy for when you transition? What's actually being done here? Because we don't have to stay or leave all the time. It's really like there's a million ways to do things. And that is in your 3D life. That is very fundamental stuff, right? Survival stuff. Bowerbird. So in the 4D pivot point, when you come up into higher centers, this is about the heart level, which is your pivot point coming out of survival and into a heart-based reality, which is a compassionate reality. The bowerbird says, get your surroundings looking as beautiful and abundant as possible. Signal to yourself that you have your favorite things around you. Everything is beautiful. It's like bringing in an artistic flair to everything around you, right? So those quotes that say, the way that you dress is art, the way that you speak is art, the way that you do things in the world can be art. So where are we embodying that? Like, are we just slapping the same clothes on, and are we just having functional furniture, or can we actually draw in more delightful surroundings and bring art to every area of our life? Now, that might be challenging for some people because some people tell me I'm not creative. I would probably argue that everyone has the capacity to be creative and intuitive, but it's how much you develop those skills. So is there an artistic flair that you're not moving into? Is there a creative hobby that you've put behind? There's a key in that, in rearranging your environment, in tending to your creative fire. The bowerbird's going to bring you something. It's going to be a message, an understanding, a revelation, or something that's going to drop in, probably while you're looking after your plants, or doing something with your hands, or tending to your garden. There'll be a message in that pursuit, right? So that we don't just sit around waiting for the message. We're like, universe, give me a sign. The sign will come as you're moving through that artistic flair and bringing that into your life. So that feels really beautiful. 5D, the Jaguar, very strong totem. So the 5D is going to be about the ultimate focus, the ultimate stalking of your dreams. Be mindful that that doesn't become an obsession. My beautiful Jaguar totem students can get really locked on to things. They can go into extremes. So when you are in that higher state of awareness, make sure that you are focused but not obsessed. You are centered and not burning out, right? And it's really about, don't hyperfixate on your 5D self and forget the 3D. Because the praying mantis is still there saying, like, what timelines are we after? Like, are we using our resources for the best reasons? We still need to do the mundane, creative parts of our life. We still need to cook beautiful food and tend to our gardens and surround ourselves with beauty so that that Jaguar energy can be held in a container. Jaguar energy without any container will destroy your life very quickly. It is probably the most forceful self-sabotage I've ever experienced. It can be, I need it and I want it and I want it now, get out of my way. So we have to make sure that we are taming that kitty, you know, making sure that the jaguar is only hunting when it needs to hunt, focused on the right things without that becoming the only thing, right? So bringing in that balance. To hold that energy, my beautiful Cancerians, is to tend to the framework so that power and that um, leadership can come through. You know, Jaguar's king of the jungle, really, no predators around apart from humans, and has one of the strongest bites out of all the big cats. So it is lethal. And it's means that when you're in capacity, when you're acknowledging this training program, which means when you have boundaries and you can remain open-hearted and your lower centers are fully flourishing and not ignored, that ability to achieve, to succeed, to hunt, and to focus on big things will come alive. And that will be, once those jaguars get on target, they're not coming off target, right? So it will be like stalking your dreams, hunting something big. And that feels like it really is starting to wake up. And that's beautiful. So just watch those shadow aspects too. Don't worry about, or like catch yourself when it goes into an obsession. Don't make it your persona, right? You don't need to be seen as the most ambitious and the most disciplined and the most of everything. Know that that quality is there. Keep your heart open and make sure you got boundaries around you so you can still have a beautiful community, right? That feels really big, Cancer. So I hope that drops in for you this month. Come and hang out and play on Patreon. Why not? Follow the link. A bunch of awesome people doing awesome things. 21-day challenges, group chats, forums, book club. We're really trying to provide the structure and the community around intuition development. So until you find your soul tribe, come and hang out. We love you. Bye.